I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Heather, and I will be your moderator this afternoon. Just a couple of housekeeping tips. You will all be on mute, and my partner over at the Child Care Alliance, Alyssa, she will be monitoring in case you have any technical issues. Please submit your questions in our chat room, and I'll be monitoring the chat room as well as a couple of my colleagues to ensure that we get some of your questions. I hope all of you were able to tune in and watch Coy's amazing keynote. It certainly was fun. I watched it a couple of times, and my family has been enjoying his Tiny Humans, Music for Tiny Humans album. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I think most of our colleagues are in here. Very good, very good. All right, so I want to start off saying, first of all, thank you, Coy, for making this live Q&A possible. And I also want to thank Lakeshore and QSLA for making this event possible. Coy is a literacy and early education advocate by day and multi-platinum music star by night. Coy Bowles has some pretty exciting things for us on the horizon. A Georgia native born and raised in Thomaston, Georgia, Coy Bowles is probably best known as a guitarist, keyboardist, singer, and songwriter for the three-time Grammy award-winning Zac Brown Band. And I must add that he has an absolutely beautiful family as well. However, offstage, he is a teacher and parent blazing trails in the world of early education. With 4 highly praised children's books under his belt, Coy recently released a social emotional learning kit based around his hit book, Behind the Little Red Door, an unforgettable story of imagination and creativity. His new children's album, Music for Tiny Humans, won a Gold Award from the Parents' Choice Foundation. His creative journey began at 11 years old when he started playing guitar. Raised with love and support and through the guidance of an influential teacher, Coy was able to dream big and knew that he could do anything he put his heart and soul into. His successful musical career enabled him to create an advocacy platform for literacy, early education, and teacher appreciation. With having such a blessed life and career, I feel motivated to give back to teachers and give kids a better understanding of confidence and creativity, he says. Coy is highly involved in the state of Georgia's early education system. He is a board member for Georgia Foundation for Early Care and Learning, involved with the Georgia Governor's Office of Education's initiatives, and was the 2019 keynote speaker for the GAEYC, and recently became the Region 4 Head Start Ambassador on Early Literacy. So obviously, this is why we have Coy here. We're so excited to welcome him. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring Coy on so that he can share some more about himself. He's going to sing some great songs. In about 15 minutes, you'll have an opportunity to submit your questions into our chat. I'll read those questions to Coy, and we'll go back and forth. Welcome, Coy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for coming in and saying hey and spending time with me. This is going to be super cool. We're going to have fun. Maria, I love you've been turning the camera so I could see you had my book up and some other stuff going on. It's very cool. Thank you so much. I grew up in Thomaston, Georgia, which is a very small town in middle Georgia. I was an only child. I had 2 amazing parents that they got married when they were 18 and 19. And my mother always tried to instill in me to be different. Being from a small town in the South, it's kind of encouraged by most parents to be like everyone else, like not to stick out or, kind of be, kind of fit in with the normal crowd. For some reason, my mother was very into, why would you want to wear that shirt? Everybody wears that shirt. Get a different shirt that expresses who you are. And for some reason, I bought into it when I was a kid. I was like, cool, And as I got older, I kind of became somewhat impervious to people, any kind of negative comments about, what I dress like or what I look like. It didn't really affect me that much. And I don't know why. I don't know if I had like a high self-esteem or confidence level, but I would see my other friends when I was younger, people saying stuff to them, and then like they wouldn't wear those shoes anymore because somebody said something about it. Whereas it would kind of fly over my head, and I'd be like, I don't know why you don't like my shoes. I think they're cool, and they're like, well, I don't like them. They're not, cool or whatever. And then like, okay, cool. Well, that's what you think, and so later on in life, I realized that somehow or another, this inability to kind of let people's opinions of me or whatever really affect me all that much became something that was somewhat of a strength that I had that I was slightly oblivious to. So I started, as I got involved in writing books and being a part of music and everything, I really I was really interested in understanding why I had confidence in certain areas and why I had insecurities in certain areas, and other people that I really admired had strengths in different areas and insecurities in different areas. Because ultimately, I think that understanding your strengths and really playing towards those, and then also being very aware of your insecurities and working on to strengthen those, is kind of like one of the main goals of life, really. And I was able, because my parents were such great communicators, I was able to learn some of these skills at a very young age. And one of my main goals in life right now is to kind of take what's been given to me through my really amazing, loving parents, and also this crazy journey that I've been on of getting to meet so many successful people with being in the Zach Brown Band, and somehow or another take all of this information and kind of boil it down into some kind of creative form, whether it be a book or an educational kit or music for kids, and give them this ability to realize that, your strengths might not necessarily be other people's strengths, and your weaknesses might not be other people's weaknesses, but being aware of those things forms a social emotional foundation. And also knowing like some of the keys to success, and putting that in music so it becomes kind of subconscious, if you will, to where it's not so like, you need to do this, you need to do that. Because I mean, early education. I have 2-year-old and a 3-year-old right now, so I am full on about as much into that world as you can get without having more kids. And my niece and nephew who live up the road from us, they're 5 and 9, so they're at our house every other day. So that being said, one of the biggest things that I'm trying to do in my life right now, and it's been a really long journey because I started writing children's books like 10 years ago, is to join forces with you guys, and try to come up with educational material that it will be very relevant and pertinent in the classroom and very relevant to today's time, but also give kids this like foundation of social emotional skills that's all based in creativity and fun and excitement, not a bunch of rules. You should follow this, you should do that kind of stuff. So that's one reason why this kit that just came out with Lakeshore is something that took me 2 years to do. And I'm really proud of it. I mean, I put more time and energy and heart and soul into that project than just about anything I've ever done in my entire life. So with that said, I'm really excited for it to be coming out right now, specifically just because we worked on it and it's coming out. But right now, in the kind of situation we're in as a world and a country, I think social emotional learning is going to be really key to the mental health of where kids are at right now. And first off, I want to just thank you guys for all that you do for the kids and the community, and just how much work and love and heart and soul that you guys put in. I see it and I know what it's about, because I've been really trying to stay in touch with you guys. So I know how big of a sacrifice that it is for you guys, and the current situation that we're in, how much time and energy and how hard it is. So first of all, thank you guys for that so much, and thank you for listening to me talk. So with that said, I think I'm going to play a song from the album called Coming Home. So I released an album called Music for Tiny Humans. Never released a children's album before, never written children's music before, really. And it ended up winning a Parents' Choice Award, but it won gold. So, like, I would be standing on the big box, if I was in the Olympics or something. So it's been met with a lot of positivity, which I'm really excited about. And this is one of my favorite songs on the album. And the one line that gets me every time is, even though I seem so young, I'm a bird with wings. Learning to fly can be the hardest thing. Every little thing you taught me, every lesson I learned, when I'm lost and lonely, I find my way. I mean, honestly, like, even just like talking about it makes me kind of choke up a little bit, because I just think about my daughters being so young, and there's no telling what's going to happen in life. Nothing's guaranteed. No day nobody's guaranteed another day. So that's how I try to live my life, and so I take my love and my care for my daughters very seriously. But just knowing there'll be a day to where they'll have to figure it out on their own, and hopefully I will have prepared them for life in a way to where whatever situation happens, they're going to be smart enough, emotionally intelligent enough, and confident enough to speak their mind or make the right decision or whatever. But man, just thinking about it, them being so little right now, makes me tear up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, it lets you know that these songs that I'm writing are they're for kids, but they're also for me. You know what I mean? They help me find my way, and they also are for adults as well. So without further ado, I'm gonna play you a song. So I have to change into my song playing outfit, which is wearing a hat that you can wear headphones with. All right. Hopefully this will work with let me tune this thing real fast. There we go. Day in, day out, life is the same. You get so comfortable, then there's change. There's routine patterns, all these things matter. Then there's change, and it's scattered. All of a sudden it's upside down. Should I smile or should I frown? They say, one foot in front of the other. I say, I'm scared and let's run for cover. Even though I seem so young, I'm a bird with wings. Learning to fly can be the hardest thing. Every little thing you taught me, every lesson I learned. When I'm lost and lonely, I will find my way. I'm coming home. I'm ready for anything. I'm on my own. I'm ready for anything. Big old world, we going round and round. There's good times, bad times, things come and go. Nothing stays the same, don't you know? All of a sudden it's upside down. Should I smile or should I frown? They say, one foot in front of the other. I say, but there's a whole world to discover. Seems so young, I'm a bird with wings. Learning to fly can be the hardest thing. Every little thing you taught me, every lesson I learned. When I'm lost and lonely, I will find my way. I'm coming. I'm ready for anything. I'm on my own. I'm ready for anything. Here we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I went to school and actually have a degree in studying music. So I think at the very end, I'm going to just show off a little bit for you guys on some of the guitar skills that I have. Fingers crossed, I'll see you guys at the end, okay? Yes, we made it. So I don't know if there was lag on your end, but it's all good. We finished we finished the finish line, and that's all that matters. We crossed it, right? So I'm going to transform now from my performing hat back into my speaking hat. If you don't mind, I'll be right back, like Superman.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
All right, I'm back.
I was at a
So, do you want to get into some questions?
Yes. Yes. Definitely do. Coy. Let's start off. I'm sorry, I have. Do you have any on how
Do you have any
young children
develop
their social skill set?
Say that question one more time if you don't mind.
Sure. Do you have any on how to introduce young children to music and develop their social emotional skill set?
Introducing children to music. I think it's very important to make sure that the music that you expose your kids to varies between things that they really enjoy and things that they might not be capable of understanding right now. But we have a lot of dance parties at our house. And so I think that movement is really important for kids to kind of learn confidence. Like our youngest daughter would see our oldest daughter dancing very confidently, and just kind of doing whatever she wants to and improvising and all this stuff. And it made her ability to appreciate music in far as like just kind of going bananas. It made it a lot easier for her than it was for our first kid. I don't know how to explain that other than it took our first daughter a while to get comfortable with dancing in front of us, and we would be going bananas. But our second daughter, when she saw somebody doing that was her age, then it made it that much easier for her to transition into that. So, both of their favorite songs is Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. They love that tune. They go crazy over it. But we listen to a varied amount of music, and I try to expose them to things. I really like the Beatles a lot, and I think that the Beatles is my kind of bridging them into different styles of harmony, different styles of singing, like rock and roll, lullaby melodies and things of that nature. Whereas the music that they tend to like the most is the music that has like a strong beat and that they can dance to. Like perfect example was that I wrote a song called Brand New Day on the last album, and we didn't put drums to it. And they came down and they were just like, cool, kind of like it a little bit, you know? And then I was like, dude, they're not dancing. This is not going to work. And so I then we then put a beat to it, and they went bananas. They just went crazy. They had the blast. Um, so as far as the social emotional angle to it, I think that letting them have their own things that they like so they can ask for those things is really important. And I think that also kind of talking to them about what do you think this song is about and what does it make you feel? So, just getting in with them and asking questions is really awesome. Because we'll listen to a song like, let's see, one of the Beatles tunes. Like I sing them Blackbird a lot when they're going to bed. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. And one day my daughter was like, "Is that song sad?" And I was like, "What do you think it is?" And she was like, "Maybe." And I was like, "To me, it just feels." I tried to explain the idea of what melancholy is, and she kind of got it actually. The whole idea of she didn't really understand the word so much, but the idea of that music can be both happy and sad at the same time, and that it wasn't really sad as much as it was just kind of not as happy, So I think the key to music is allowing them to pursue their own paths, you kind of influencing them a little bit along the way, and allowing them to express themselves fully by going bananas with dance parties and things of that nature, and also asking them questions about what does this song make you feel like. Those things are key to me.
Those are great strategies, Coy. I definitely agree with you. Modeling for our children and those peer interactions are critical. And in the times that we're in, a lot of our providers have shared with us that, they will have a Zoom call just like this and have the children on and play music and allow children to sing and dance and to be able to connect with one another. So thank you for sharing those strategies with us. We do have a question in our chat box from Maria Rodriguez. She wants to know, how does your wife feel when you decided to go into early childhood development?
That's a really good question because honestly, I started writing books 10 years ago before I met her. And I wrote a book called Amy Giggles, Laugh Out Loud. And I was telling you about how I was always interested in how people struggle with certain things and other people don't struggle with things. That was kind of the essence of this book. It's kind of a book about a girl's insecurity and her unique personality. And then I wrote this other book called Will Powers, Where There's a Will, There's a Way, which is kind of my story slightly about trying out for band when I was in middle school and not making it and just being bummed out, man. I was like, and my parents were like, you don't play an instrument. Why would you think that you would make the band, And so then I ended up deciding to use that as I have a really strong work ethic. My parents instilled that in me. Were like, there is no laziness at all. I mean, I have lazy days that I pick and choose, but in I want to grow. I want to achieve things, and I want to become somebody. Every single day I strive for that. So the one thing that I can offer kids in general is the idea, if they weren't around that environment, then I try to, through my actions and my books that I create, make them realize that working hard and achieving things is what it's all about, So back to your question, when we first met, she thought it was like cute and cool, I guess, that I wrote books. And, some people, when I meet them and I'm this guy who's in this band and travel the world and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I write children's books. And they're like, what? But she thought it was interesting. She was very supportive of it. But then there was a period where I was gone a lot and we started having kids, and I was kind of doubling down on being involved in this anymore. So I had 2 jobs, and we had a conversation to where she's like, you really either got to do this or you need to stop and just play music and be, a father, you know. So I put so much time and energy and love into all of this stuff to where there was no turning back for me. So I decided to really go for it, which is when a lot of really cool things unfolded in my life. And I connected with Lakeshore. I ended up doing a book with the state of Georgia called um, Behind the Little Red Door. And that book went out to 85,000 kids. And that was a big push and a moment where I was like, whoa, I'm writing a book that's going to go out to that many kids. What do I say, you know? So anyway, it became a pretty interesting, well, that's a really interesting question, because at first it was cool and cute. And then it became like, you know, you're gone a lot because of this stuff. What, you know, what are we going to do about it? And that's when I decided to officially kind of form it into a business instead of it being kind of a hobby. So I created this company called Coyco, which stands for Creative Opportunity Yields Creative Output, which means like you give a kid a book, they're going to learn how to read. You give a kid a guitar, they're going to learn how to play guitar. You can't really do something until you have the opportunity to do it. So that's what the whole company stands for. And basically all of these books and the kits and everything are kind of housed under that company. So that's a good question. And she was into it, and then she got more into it once we decided to make it a big part of my life, you know? So
Sounds like you guys have an awesome partnership.
yeah,
Thank you.
she's a great wife. She's very understanding and a great mother, and and we have a great communication. So
Yeah, you have the both of you to feed off of one another, and it benefits, you know, so many people through your music as well as your advocacy for early learning. And watching your keynote, I love one of the anecdotes that you shared. It was after you met with Lakeshore. You said you went back to your hotel room and you called your wife, and she said, "How did it go?" And you said, "I found my people."
yeah,
So
that's the truth,
definitely
you know?
welcome you, Coy. We are your people, and we welcome you into the early childhood family. As we know, it is the keystone to our civilization. If we don't focus in this area early, then we know that there's major ramifications. And on this call, we have amazing early care and learning heroes. And one of the questions that we want to pose is, as far as your work in changing policy for children, what do you think that we can do to become more involved? And do you have any personal aspirations around advocacy?
Yeah, so the advocacy part of it is interesting. It's new to me because that, you know, my take on advocacy means like talking to adults. That's kind of what I boil it down to. Talking to adults who are going to make a change. Um, that is something that I haven't really been that interested in through this entire journey, because I want to make a difference in the classrooms and the kids right away. And I don't know if that's selfish of me or what, but that's one of my main drives with kids, is that you can't do any harm by you're not spinning your wheels. Anytime you spin with them in a positive way, it's going to directly impact their lives, which is directly going to affect the world in a way, and which is going to directly affect, you know, the kind of the cosmos, this whole thing that we're trying to do here, which is grow and be happier and be kinder to each other, and everybody have better skills to be able to do all of that. I think that I'm allowed, with me being in touch with teachers and students, then my advocacy comes directly to the kids through what I create. And so I've just recently got involved with organizations about things that are going on a higher level. And I have yet to decide whether that's my wheelhouse or not. Like I'll fall on the sword for you guys and this whole thing and kids any day. You know what I mean? Like I have no problem, you know, standing on the steps of any, you know, public building, standing and talking for hours with, you know, people who are going to make a change, and them hearing me out, or me getting prepared to talk to them, or whatever it is. I don't have that, but I know that when I talk to kids and I talk to you guys, I feel when I leave that there's direct change. I see it, I feel it, and when I leave, I'm like, the world is a better place because of our interaction and sharing. Whereas sometimes when you're dealing with adults, you know, as far as in these kind of types of things, you can talk all day long, and you leave there and you go, I could have easily just beat my head against the wall and got as much done. That being said, I need guidance. And that's what I've been doing now, is because before I go and stand up and talk to anybody, I want to be educated about what I'm talking about. And I want it to be, I wanted it to make a difference. You know, it's like if you've ever seen that video footage of Mr. Rogers talking to, I guess it was the Senate or the House or whatever. And as soon as they hear him talk, they're just like, okay, we're gonna let you do what you need to do. You know, it's obvious. You know, and so I kind of want to be in that world to where when I say something, it's done. There's enough research. They're not going to be asking me questions that I get holes shot through. So, to your answer, I spend a lot of time talking to educational specialists and people who are running different organizations, trying to fill my head and my view of things in a bigger picture and understand what's going on and what's needed, so that the next phase, if it is moving into an advocacy type role, then I'd be educated and speaking on educated terms, instead of just kind of showed up and be like, hey, I'm the guy in the band, we should do this. And they're like, why? And I'm like, you know, I want to come in, you know, rocking and socking, man. So, but I am steadily moving in that direction, I think, you know, because everything I'm doing is for cause and is starting to, is making a stand. And the more I learn, the more I feel like I have to be involved on that level, you know?
Definitely, definitely. Coy, I mean, you are an ally to the early learning and care field, and we absolutely thank you. Fred Rogers is also one of my heroes, and probably the heroes of many of the folks here. You know, you speak about resilience, and as though you know, it's a natural characteristic, but sometimes you know, we have to sort of nurture that characteristic in our children. And certainly our heroes on this call, they're resilient. A lot of them have stayed open. They're essential workers, and they've taken care of essential workers' children, and they've encouraged families and been there for them, put themselves at risk as well as their own families at risk. And I also want to thank each and every one of you on this call for your resiliency and your commitment to children and families. Coy, could you give us, you know, can you give us an example? I heard from your friends on the keynote that you're a great storyteller. How did resilience build up in you? How did you nurture that characteristics? And then what can we do in order to nurture that characteristic in young children?
So this is something that started with me at a very young age. It has to do with practicing. I started riding skateboards at a really young age, and I would fall down, and I had a decision when I would fall down. I can either try again, or I can go back inside. You know, and there were definitely days where I'd fall down and it hurt, and I would get frustrated, and I would go back inside. But then I kind of started realizing through my mom and dad's work ethic and their perseverance, and as I got older, realizing the skills that they had and how they communicated that to me. I grew up in a very, very, very emotionally communicative family, meaning that if one of my parents got frustrated, they would be like, hey, your mom and I just had a conversation. I'm a little frustrated, so I'm going to go outside for a little bit. Everything's okay. And then they would come back in, I would hear them talking, and then they would say, hey, this is what happened. And they would explain things to me on my level, you know, and not get into the finer details of things. But they would say, your mom and I love each other. Everything's going to be okay. We just had a discussion, and now we agree, and this is what we're going to do. So it was like that all the time. You know, I just grew up in this. There were no throwing plates. There was no like leaving and not coming back, or I didn't grow up. I was very, very stable, you know. So in that kind of environment, which I realize, even I realized then that my other friends didn't have that going on. So I realized through that process and growing up and kind of realizing how special that is, that this is a virtue that I've been given, and that I need to, you know, kind of be as appreciative of it as possible, and also share with people, you know, what comes along with that, you know. So, so going back to a combination of watching my parents deal with things and their resiliency to not just like give up on each other or give up on their struggles of their jobs or anything like that. You know, they kind of had this tenacity, and it kind of runs through my family altogether. I mean, I have a very poor family. My grandmother was like picked cotton. All my family are mill workers, you know, and this thing. So, you know, there was a strive to get by, you know, and that caused resiliency because there wasn't another option. You know, you got to kind of be resilient because you got to kind of keep the lights on, you know. So with that said, it all started with me with falling down on a skateboard and deciding I'm going to try that again. And then somehow or another, watching videos of people skateboarding and them falling down over and over and over and over and over again. And then me deciding that I'm going to try that, you know, and a lot of the same way happened with it transitioned into music to where I would play guitar and I couldn't get something. So I would slow it down. So if a line was like, "Bee-ba-dee-ba-da-ba-dee-ba-da-ba-da-da," and I was like, what is that? You know, it sounds like 20,000 notes. You know, I'd be like, okay, ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da. And then I had this device on my computer that would slow it down so I could go, ba-bo-da-bo-da-bo-da-bo-da-bo-do-da. And I would literally start, da-bo. You know, you should see the rewind button on the CD player that I grew up in. Like the fast forward button is like it's mint and it's clean and you can still see the arrows. The rewind button is literally like you got to stick your finger inside the DVD or the CD player to get it to work, you know, just from constantly going back and what was that? What was that? So I think teaching kids the power of, and this is even for adults too, but teaching people to not be really afraid of failure. I mean, like I had a net because my parents loved me, but I also learned somewhere along in life that like if I'm smart and I think about what I'm doing, then if I fall backwards, it's never really like really unexpected. The unexpected falls are the ones that really hurt, you know, where all of a sudden you think you're going to fall off a 2-foot, you know, drop and it's 7 foot and you're like, whoa, that was freaky, you know. But I kind of realized as I got in life, along in life, that if I really, really give it my all, then I'm going to learn something and I'm not going to necessarily fall backwards, you know? And so within that is the essence of resilience, you know, to like try to do it again. So I think that a lot of that comes with instilling confidence, finding out where your weakness in your confidence is, or in a kid's life per se. And also, you know, really having some kind of figure, whether it's you guys or a parent or a coach or something that kind of pushes them to like, hey, don't just give up yet. Try it again, you know, and it can kind of coach them along, but also instilling in them that you don't give up. That's just not an option. You know, that was kind of like, that's when I work with my daughters and things of that nature. You know, even if they decided they don't want to do it anymore, I'm like, we don't give up, you know, we keep going, you know, kind of thing. And then if they want to go and do something else, that's fine. But as they get older in life, that will be something that they learn. Sorry, I'm such a winded question answer, but I feel like these are like important questions. So I could have just said, tenacity is the key to persistence and moved on, but you know.
No, you dropped several jewels, Coy. I heard that we need to build confidence in our children, give them an opportunity to reflect, give them an opportunity to take risks and communicate and just create that safe environment, you know, where children are exposed to, you know, different skills and different types of music and different interests, and then, you know, give them that platform to try those things out and encourage them along the way. So thank you, Coy. If we could pause just for a second, because we just enjoy your music so much. Would you mind singing one more song for us, Coy?
Yeah, sure. Let me pull up some of these songs I haven't played in a while, so I need the words just as a slight reminder. This is one of the better songs that I think that I've ever been a part of writing. we go. Sorry. So they make actual devices that you can put on this thing that help you tune it. Normally people who are professionals do that before they get on a video camera in front of a lot of people. But I like to let you guys see what the process is like, you know what I mean? Let you see, like, you know, what the process, I'm totally lying right now. Okay, so I wrote a song many years ago, and I had this kind of epiphany. Being an only child has been one of those kind of things that's really cool because it allows, I spend a lot of time in my head, and I think a lot of my creativity comes from I have a little wheel inside my head that just constantly spins from being by myself and trying to keep myself amused for so long. And then there's also a part of that to where I've really kind of struggled with being able to tell myself that it's going to be okay without needing, you know, kind of some kind of backup support from somebody else, whether it's a friend, fellow bandmate, or my mom and dad, or whatever, you know. And I learned at some point in my late 20s, early 30s that healing yourself is basically the key to life. You know, like whatever you go through, whatever burns and whatever leaves a stain and whatever leaves a mark or whatever leaves, you know, a scar or anything like that, like nobody can really heal you but yourself. You know, only you know how to let something go. You can talk to people and they can help, and you can do practices and find these tools that allow you to overcome things. But really, it's up to you to decide that I don't want to feel this way anymore. I'm going to find a way and use certain tools to like let go and heal myself, you know? And it was a big thing for me for some reason. I was just like, whoa, I need to focus on healing myself, you know? So once I did that, I ended up writing this song called The Healing. And I think that it's considering where we're at in life and how the world is turning right now with the virus and, you know, effects of the economy and jobs and just all the stuff that we're going through. I think that one of the biggest things is we're all going to have to step into that place and learn how to heal ourselves. I mean, my world completely stopped. I mean, my whole industry, it went from, you know, one of the best years that the industry has ever had was last year as far as touring and touring numbers and tickets sold and everything to like zero. You know, and that was one of those kind of things to where, you know, to see everybody that you love and know and everything just kind of halt, you know, everybody stopped. But it's going to be okay, you know, because we're going to have to find a way to make it okay. And in that way of making okay is going to be learning to heal through some things, you know. So anyway, without further ado, this is a song I wrote called The Healing. It's all I can do to not think of you. My line keeps ringing, but you're not around. And it's not right for me to hold on endlessly. So I pray, oh well, and I put my phone down. It's in the healing. When your heart's so broke that it's stealing, it's in the healing. There's that feeling when you bring back believing, it's in the healing. I fall down on my face, can't seem to erase the souls I have burned left in the cold, but my spirit is willing, and I won't lie down, right all my wrongs, turn this around. It's in the healing, when your heart's so broke that it's stealing, it's in the healing. There's that feeling when you bring back believing, it's in the healing. Standing on the edge of the world, just trying to hang on, and tearing down the walls to get back to where I started from. Hey, yeah. It's in the healing, when your heart's so broke that it's stealing, it's in the healing. There's that feeling when you bring back believing, it's in the healing. Healing, it's in the healing. All right. I feel like that's the truth.
It is the truth. I just took a moment here. I don't know. I was watching some of you who are on the screen, and I just took a moment in the middle of my day and kind of like looked out the window and listened to you sing. It was very healing. Thank you, Coy, for using your platform to be a blessing to all of us. We have some dedicated and hard workers here on this call, and we've all needed a little bit of healing. So thank you so much for offering that to us.
If you like this song, then it's pretty much everywhere. So if you type in my name, Coy Bowles, and The Healing, so on like iTunes or Spotify or Amazon Music or anything like that, the version of the song that we recorded is really cool, you know? So I have other music as well. So if you guys kind of like the stuff I'm playing, you should definitely go check out the kids album, Music for Tiny Humans. You know, if you download it on your phone from Spotify or Amazon or Apple Music or whatever, then use it for the kids. I mean, that's what the whole purpose of it is for. So, you know, there's a lot of really cool stuff on that. I'm probably as proud of that album as anything that I've ever done before, musically, you know. And I did it. We're actually, I'll let you guys know a couple of secrets, right? So we're actually in the studio right now this week. My buddy Carlos, who's just an amazing musician, has played with Kelly Clarkson, has played with the Zach Brown bands, played with Jason Mraz, just amazing top level professional musician. One of the sweetest, most amazing guys I've ever met in my life, and is also the guy that I wrote and produced the last album, Music for Tiny Humans. So he's been in town for like a week and a half now, and we're writing the second children's album, and it is going A-OK. I'm really excited about the tunes that are on it.
Well, we need to pilot to an audience. You have us.
Yeah, so it's really, really fun. Here, let me see if I can find, I'll just give you a brief snippet of a song. Nobody's even heard this stuff at all. Like, my wife's heard it one time, so. Yeah, that song definitely needs some roller skates. So So I'm really excited about having kids dance to that, and the sun is shining, so let's get on down.
That's right. That has like
Yeah,
a Motown vibe to it. I love it.
yeah, for sure.
It's a great
Um,
song.
yeah, I was just saying, this music is all out there. And some of the albums that I wrote are obviously for adults. And this one album, Music for Tiny Humans, is there. And if you guys want, you can go to coybowles.com and you can kind of read up about stuff that I'm doing. And there's also a place on there for if any of the stuff that I've mentioned, these books and stuff that I wrote. I wrote this one book called When You're Feeling Sick. My mom was in the hospital, and she was in a bad situation. She was in a coma for about 3 weeks, and I wrote that book sitting in a hospital, realizing how sitting in a hospital is not what you want. So I wrote it in my head. When she got better, she's like 100% back to, like, literally a miracle. And so I decided that I wanted to write a book for people who are stuck in hospitals. So if you have anybody, a kid who's kind of scared of being sick, especially with what all is going on, and there's songs that go along with the book as well. So you can kind of use music in the books and everything. But if you're interested in all this crazy stuff that I'm doing, make sure to go and check out my website, because there's a lot of stuff that'll lead you to this music that I played and all this other stuff. So I'm pretty bad at self-promotion, so I wanted to make sure that if I got on here and you wanted to find out where the stuff that I've done, if you go to that, then that's where you'll find stuff. So
That's right. And all the participants that take advantage of watching your keynote, their agencies receive the Behind the Little Red Door kit. You want to talk a little bit about what's included in that? I know that the Music for Tiny Humans is included in that. So that's
this book is called Behind the Little Red Door. I'll give you a quick rundown. I had this really amazing aunt who was super kooky, and she was my great aunt, and she was absolutely in love with her grandkids, and they were around my age, and I went over to her house, and she had taken the attic and put like all this furniture in there, and then sheetrocked it up, and then put a really little door for you to get into it, like a normal attic door, like a little kind of thing. But when you went in there and turned on the light, it went into a full-size room with like a bed and a couch, and this was the kids' playroom. So I remember her coming up to me one day and be like, "Do you want to go play in the playroom?" I was like, "Cool." And we go up to this wall with this tiny little door, and I'm like, this is the weirdest playroom I've ever been in. And she was like, "Look in there." So I opened the door, and she like flipped on the light, and like all of these Christmas lights and stuff were hung up in there, and there was just like random stuff everywhere. I mean, it looked like a whole nother world, And I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy." And so she'd pick me up and like fly me around. And because the environment was so creative and so kind of, different, and she was so creative, I remember her picking me up and flying me around the room, and me being like, "I'm really flying," like this is what it feels like to really fly right now. So, so anyway, I based that whole thing. This is the book that got sent out to 85,000 kids in Georgia, and I had writer's block from the first time. They asked me to write, and I was like, "How many people was it going to?" And they were like 85,000. I was like, "Whoa!" And then I was like, "Sure, I can come up with something." And then I was like, "What do you say to 85,000 kids?" I imagined myself on a stage because I played in front of 70,000 people before. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just go with I'm on stage, I got a microphone, and there's 85,000 kids not listening. And I'm like, excuse me, if you guys could please pay attention right now. I got a couple questions that I'd like to ask. I'm trying to write a book. I'd like to know what you guys think it would be like a good idea, like what would be fun for you guys. And it just nobody listening and it being crazy. So I came up with the idea of, out of everybody that I've met through this whole journey of traveling the world and meeting all these really insane, cool people, creativity is by far the key to success, in my opinion. Whether you're a businessman or you're actually an artist or whatever, being creative in mind is the key to success. Is how you come up with, how you're going to do things, how you're going to get your way out of a business problem, how you're going to get your way into a business problem. So I decided that I wanted the book to be about creativity. So onto the kit. So then we ended up coming up with this really awesome box that it goes in. And inside the box, the main part of the box that I was the most concerned about was I really wanted kids to be able to express their emotions. I mean, again, I have a 2 and 3-year-old daughter, and if you ask them if they're happy or sad, they'll say that they're sad and then not be sad. You know, like it's hard for them to describe how they feel. So I thought that if you were able to change the face out on this puppet, then you could really give kids an idea of, you know, how different emotions look on someone's face. This would be good for autism or Asperger's, or people who have or kids who have a hard time understanding, you know, emotions and that they could look on somebody's face to tell. And also just being able to play around with this door by yourself, off away from everybody, and come up and be like, I feel like this. And the teacher be like, you know, well, what does that feel like? What does this look like? You know, I'm just super excited about this getting into the hands of teachers and kids. I play with it with my daughter a lot, and she really enjoyed it. So I'm really excited about this being a new way of communication between teachers and kids and students and whatnot. So, and then you open it up, and it's a storyboard. So you get to take all these pieces and, you know, like in this one, Pico and his teacher are going to outer space, but they took the couch with them, you know, which is really, really fun, you know, just to think about. So this is the storyboard puppet, basically. And then we got emotional books, like a set of emotions that you guys can work with. And then the other really cool thing is this activity cards. So on the back is the lyrics to the song that come with the CD. So you guys can be, you know, really aware of what the lyrics are instead of just kind of understanding. You can read them to the kids. And then there's activities that go along with it for each, like an overview, getting started, diving deeper into the activities, building on children's learning, and then there's extensions that go along with it. And then it tells you what materials you need and what the objective is for each activity. So I think there's 20-something activity cards in here, and they're purposely built for you. You guys know what's going on. You know what's best for your kids. You know the deal. So we purposely tried to make the kit like kind of give you guys guidelines and give you kind of a roadmap to go, but then also really try to integrate the idea, like if you want to take this further, here's a little idea, but like have at it. Go and do like whatever you think is it's going to fit your classroom best and your kids, you know. So so we tried to leave it very very motivated and very to the point, but also at the same time open-ended for, you know, the use of creativity for the teacher and the students on their own, you know. And I'm not going to go through everything else that's in the kit, but it's so much stuff. It's just amazing. Just a whole box full of amazing stuff. There's puzzles. There's these cool magnetic animals that you can buy, and you can make like a giraffe gator saurus, you know, kind of thing. So I'll tell you this. This is one secret that lets you know how much time and effort that I put into this thing. So the last song on the CD, when you buy the physical CD, we were doing the album, and it was like 40 minutes of music, right? And I was like, well, how many minutes of music are on a CD? And we looked it up, and there was 74 minutes of music that you can put on a CD. And I decided the last song on the CD is a song called Lie Down, which is a song to help kids kind of, you know, get ready for naps or get ready for bed. Because I know how hard that can be with my kids, you know. So we started playing this song, and when I first wrote it, they would come in the studio and they would like lay down on the ground and pretend like they were sleeping, which was the cutest thing ever. But so what happens in my life is I ride around, I play them a lullaby song, and then all of a sudden the song goes off, and it's like regular car noise, and they realize that they're just sleepy enough to where they realize something stopped, and then they wake back up and it's like, what happened? because like for some reason it's built into kids to where no kid alive wants to go to sleep. That's like the point of life is to not go to sleep when you're little. So I decided that we have like 24 minutes left of music, of space on the CD. So why not it go into white noise so that if you play it in your classroom for kids to take a nap, then at least you got 24 minutes of white noise that go along with it at the very end of the CD. So that's how much I thought about everything being useful and everything being, instead of just having the CD end, it goes into 24 minutes of white noise if you need it, you know?
That is amazing. I'm looking at the chat, Coy, and people are like, how can I get that kit? These are great resources. We want to implement them. And so I'm just reminding.
But not to cut you off. So the other part of the kit is I kind of come along with the kit. I'm not going to stop creating stuff for the kit. There's going to be a lot of videos that are accessible. So like there'll be videos of me playing songs that are like the songs that are on the album. There'll be videos. There'll be videos of me saying like, hey, I'm the guy who wrote the book. Check this out. I'm going to read it to you. So there'll be videos of me reading the book. There'll be videos of me playing the songs. There'll be videos of me talking about like the stuff that we're talking about today. And so as time goes along, you'll have more resources to use in the classroom via video if you guys want. I would love it to where I kind of just randomly show up in the classroom via video and I'm like, hey guys, remember me? I'm the one who wrote the kit and the songs and the book and everything. I got a new song for you. I just wrote it and it goes something like this. And then you guys be aware of it and then you get to play them. And so there's this kind of like, I'm part of the journey with you guys. That's kind of my end goal, is to constantly create this thing to where I'm on your team. I'm on the kids team. They know who I am. I'm the guy who wrote the book with the hat, and all of that stuff. So not only does you just get what the kid is, but you'll get a lot more that we're creating videos for right now. Hence the reason why I created this room that I am in, that I'll see if I can show you guys. But there's a screen over here and a camera over here and some other things, so I can create my own videos. I wanted to be in the room with you guys so bad that I took this small little room in my house and made a video camera editing room so I can send videos. So,
Wow. Thank you, Coy. So many of your friends in the keynote noted that your superpower is that you're an awesome storyteller, and you are. I could listen to you all day. This has been such a breath of fresh air. But I'd like to add one more superpower to you. You have the capability of encouraging people to celebrate their talent, because you never know where your talent will take you and how your talent will bless so many people. And so I really appreciate you just being so vulnerable and open and sharing about your family and your past and your career. And again, you have a family here in early learning and care. We welcome you. We are your people. We are your family. So you
means
always
a lot. It means way more than you know. I mean, really, I went to NACCE this last year, and had a great time talking with teachers. But I think the one thing that I realized in the industry as a whole, whether you're you're part of an organization or you're in the classroom or kind of whatever your role is it's one of those kind of things that a lot of people are in this job because they mean it. This is where they belong. This is their home. This is their people. This is their, and music is very much like that. You don't choose to play music because, really anything other than that's what you are. That's who you are. That's what you do. And when I started hanging out with these people at NACCE, teachers, people involved in the industry as a whole, I really kind of connected with them, and it was really insane. To me, the craziest thing that I took away from this is that I really believe in, my father is somebody who literally has told me he's proud of me every single time I get off the phone with him since I've been able to talk on the phone, right? And there'll be times to where we'll hang up and be in a rush, and he'll call me back, oh, I'm proud of you, kind of thing. And hearing that kind of stuff really like helps you out. And my dad's superpower is like when my buddy comes over and say that, he put new tires on his truck. My dad will say, I see you got new tires on your truck. He's like, yeah, we got paid a little extra this week, and I decided to get some new tires. He's like, good for you, man. Your truck looks great, buddy. So he's been this kind of guy who's always trying to find something that somebody's positive and that they're doing, and like let them know that that's like cool and he likes it and he's proud of them, he's good of them. It's literally like we could step into like a grocery store and he'll meet somebody, and if the cashier is doing a great job, he'll say something to him like, you do a better job at this than anybody I've ever seen before, and they'll literally light up. People love being appreciated, and that was the one thing that I decided after going to the first NACI and the last one, is that you guys have such an amazing job, what you do and how you influence the future of everyone's lives and how important your role is in our society. And yet I think you guys should be just showered with appreciation. And I'm not saying that you're not, but I mean, if you ever doubt how important your role in this world and this life that we live, and even when the craziest goes on, I think everybody's getting a little dose of how important teachers are right now with having a homeschool, But that being said, I just think the world of you guys. I've had such amazing experience with teachers, and when I get to hang out with you guys, I just, I had a couple experiences where we start talking about why you started teaching and what's what's the point of teaching and what's this. It was amazing at how many times that I would have this discussion and we would both get close. I don't say we would actually get there, but we would get close to tearing up. And to me, to know that that's like right on the surface of like, this means so much to me. As soon as you start talking about it, you kind of feel your eyes swelling up. Cause I'm like, if I see somebody getting emotional about something and their eyes are like tearing up, then I'm going to get there with them too, just by default. I can't help it. But, yeah, that's my goal in life right now, is to bring love and light and appreciation to early education, teachers as a whole, along with literacy and everything else, because you guys just deserve it so much, man. So if there's any way that I can help, and if there's any way that anybody out here is doubting your role or your how much your sacrifice and whether people notice it or not, they do. I do for sure, So you guys should, if anybody in the world should sleep good at night, it's you guys.
Definitely. Again, we have an amazing campaign in our county, which celebrates, our early learning and care providers, which is hashtag childcare heroes. And you all certainly childcare and learning heroes. Some of you, I talked to one preschool teacher in Los Angeles, and she holds 2 Zoom calls just like this every single week for 48 children, just to have an opportunity to read to children, sing with children, encourage, family engagement. And we just truly thank you, for your dedication to the field. And we're happy. This is our first virtual Q&A with an amazing keynote. What a way to kick it off with Coy. And we want to do more things like this to bring us together, because you are not alone, as Coy said. Coy, you've definitely been a light for us this afternoon. We appreciate you. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a collector of quotes, and I love quotes. And there's something that you said in your keynote that truly touched me. You said, I strongly believe I was put on earth to write music and to help children. If I can help, my dream is that if I could help one child my dream is that I would make one child's life for the better. And so we just want to let you know that you've definitely done that. I know the providers in Los Angeles County, they will take this information, process it, and apply it to the children and families that they work with. We have amazing high quality providers here. And so thank you for your gift. Thank you for your talent. We appreciate your time, and I don't see any more questions. I just see a bunch of praise and thank you and appreciations in the chat.
Thank you, guys.
But if anyone, oh, Maria and Vanessa, you have your, I don't know if those are hand claps. Those are hand claps. I thought that they were like raising your hand to say something, but thank you. This has been an amazing afternoon. Coy.
So one thing to like kind of to end on is that this kid is something that I would love to be able to, the stuff that I'm adding to it, to be something that is vetted out, you know. So if when you guys get the kits and you know, and have the music in your classroom, I would love to hear from you. You know, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram. My email is on my website and things of that nature. But if you find a weakness in the kit, you know, or something that you think that, you know, this could be better, then I would love to know about it. If you find like, wow, I've never seen, you know, this thing, the way kids move to this song just makes, you know, just really, they go crazy for it. Or so I would need to know that I would want to do that on the next CD kind of thing, you know, or whatever, because it's what works. So I really would like, you know, to stay in touch with you guys, and you know, and don't be afraid to reach out and everything. I mean, obviously your lives are busy, my lives are busy. So if you reach out to me and it takes me a day or so to get back to you, then you know, I'm trying to basically probably keep up with my kids. But I'll definitely make a note to circle back around, and any information that you guys have on you know, the kit and all that stuff would be great. Like I said, I feel like this is my people, so we need to stay in touch. You know what I mean? So like, follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll follow you guys back, and you know, see what's going on in the classroom. And feel free to take anything that I create and use it in the classroom. You know, draw and stick it up on the wall, or take pictures of the kids dancing and send them to me, or whatever, you know, whatever the right thing to do. But I would love to see when you get the kits and it's in the room, I would love as much, you know, feedback as possible, you know, because I don't know, fingers crossed. I mean, you know, like I believe in it. We put a lot of heart and soul into it, but until it gets into your guys' hands and gets in the room and the kids, then that's where it's really going to be where the rubber meets the road, you know?
That's right. That's right. And there's reciprocity in our relationship, Coy. Again, if there's anything that we can do, if you need any input on music or anything like that, we're here for you. And we'll definitely give you some feedback. And so thank you again for being with us this afternoon. I encourage you all to listen to Coy, listen and watch. The instructions to get to his keynote are listed on your invitation for this live Q&A. When you participate, you will receive that amazing kit designed by Coy and Lakeshore. These kits are made available through QSLA, through funds provided by the California Department of Education. And I'd like to leave us on this note. In the keynote, Coy sings the song, "We Are All in This Together." And he reminds us to remain united and remain engaged. Stay lifted, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you all soon. Bye, Coy.